It's funny. Right before that Brandon started the intro song, I was about to say, I should go pee right now before we get started. But that's too late. Welcome to Retireholics, everybody. Thanks for...
Stopped you?
What's that?
When does that ever stop you?
Yeah.
Only the one time that I ran out in the middle of the show because number 2 was calling something fierce. Running through the entire conference to relieve myself. Welcome everyone to another episode of Retireholics. My name is JD, and I'm here with Silent J and Nerdy Chad and everybody's favorite Retireholic, Robe Guy. Thanks for tuning in.
Who's wearing a robe right now? Anybody?
You know, sober, dry January, no robe January.
Wow. It's called robeless guy.
Robeless guy. Sorry.
It is on my chair behind me. You know what? I'm actually going to go on strike from the robe until, okay, listen closely, Sully, until I get a 401k specialist patch to go on it. I'm not wearing it.
I'm still waiting on swag for my other 3 appearances on the show. So once I get that, maybe I'll consider it.
Fair enough.
Dang it, JD, come on.
We made him custom swag. I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm supposed to wear that too.
All right, let's get going. We haven't done a song in a long time. So I freaking worked on a song. We're going to do
peer
it.
pressured into it, by the way.
A little bit, but yeah. Brandon, so I have got controls on Brandon and I've kind of troubleshot this a little bit, so I think I can just let her rip on my end, and we'll get through the song, and then we can move on to the other stuff. All right, here we go. I wrote a song, and you're about to hear it. All right, here we go.
Any minute.
And cheers to you, Mr. Fred Reich. JD loves you more than you will know. Oh. God bless you, please, Mr. Fred Reich, interpreting the rules of 401k. Hey. Your Twitter posts and podcast drops always make me smile. Blog the 401k like no one else. Look at your LinkedIn posts and all you see are JD's likes. Did you know that you're the lock screen on my phone? And cheers to you, Mr. Fred Reich. JD stalks you more than you will know. Whoa. God bless you, please, Mr. Fred Reich, interpreting the rules of 401k. Wait. Fred, where are you going? Stay. Fred, where are you going? I'm just trying to be your best friend, buddy. You don't need to run away from me. What is this? You know what sucks when you sing that song? Is when you glance down.
Literally. This is the most moving thing I've ever heard.
When you glance down and you notice that Sullivan and Chad and Justin and Mark feel more awkward right now in this moment than you do. Like they're sitting there like,
hard to watch.
What is going on? Justin, it's your time to intro our guest. I'm expecting a good one, and you out there in the audience, you're going to rate Justin on a 0 to 10 on how he does. Justin, take it away.
Well, today's guest just might be the most fantastic guest we've ever had on the show. He's a journalistic savant, a bit of a poet, if you will. The 401k zone Edgar Allan Poe, if you will. Only without the whole drinking and dying and whatnot. His literary rebuttals to our pranks are things of legend, and because Brandon and JD just can't help but fuck with him every time we're at a conference, I live in perpetual fear of what Sully's going to say next. To keep a sharp mind and his quick wit, he avoids the very substance this show was founded on. Normally we talk shit on our guests who don't drink behind their back, but since he finally put us on the cover 6 months ago, thanks to all your profound efforts of all you folks, we decided to give it a rest. He's the most fantastically fantastic editor-in-chief there ever was, Mr. John Sullivan.
Fantastic. Love the golf clap. You know, Tony said this is why I stopped drinking during that song. I just got knocked off the wagon. Actually, I'm going back to boozing.
Way to go, JD. Bringing everybody down.
Fantastic.
Do you feel like an idiot when you're like, it's the middle of the workday and you're calling Brandon going, I need to figure out the melody midway through this song. I'm screwing it up. And Brandon goes, bro, nobody gives a shit anyways. Just fucking figure it out. Let's Sully, we're so glad to have you. You are like part of the family, man. So
This is great.
it's good to have you back in the Retireholics virtual land. But let's go to headlines, shall we? Headlines, Brandon. You should start your market minutes like that, Sullivan. It's a little more professional.
Rip it off completely.
First one I want to go to is since we're in football, playoff time. I want to go to Odell Beckham.
OBJ.
I think Brandon can throw up a little something here. It seems I've read that Odell took a $750,000 salary. Mind you, that's just to finish out the season, right? That's chump change for him. With the Los Angeles Rams, but he announced to the world that he was going to take this salary in Bitcoin. And this was in November of last year. I should pull up the math here. Let me pull up the math. Well, he's got to pay taxes on that $750,000, right? And he's in a pretty high tax bracket. And now his investment goes down quite a bit. JD's not preparing here. Let's read this to you. On November 12th, Odell Beckham signed a deal with the Rams, $750,000. He announced he'd take it in Bitcoin. At the time, Bitcoin was worth $64,293. Today, that deal is worth $412,953 because Bitcoin's gone down. Odell will be taxed at the $750,000. Federal and California state tax will be just north of 50%, 50.3, which means, you ready for this, Mark? Odell, as of now, has netted $35,000 and $703 from the Rams contract this year. 35 grand.
I'm not going to tell you that these will increase in value or even hold their current value. The truth is, you bought them because you like them. They have value to you. That's what matters.
Chad, I know you're under the weather. Mark, yes, thoughts.
My only comment to that is, first off, who the hell cares? Because that was just his Rams contract. How much did he make from the Cleveland Browns this year? Like $12 million. So I don't really give a shit. They're gonna, yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun with math right there. That was fun math.
Sorry. Yeah, that point of it all. I'll let Chad give his nerdy math intake on that. But
I mean, it's market timing, right? Even if he had done the same thing in 2008, but immediately put all the money he got straight into the market and had a 50% downturn in the stock market, we could say the same thing. You're doing it simply because it's Bitcoin. I say double down. Take that 12 million Cleveland and go buy more.
I like where you're at with that.
It's going to rebound though, right, Chad?
Hell yeah, it is.
I'll give you guys.
It's not a short-term play with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's not a short-term
In the year 2030, Bitcoin's going to be worth 500,000 a piece, so it's fine.
Chad nailed it on the head, kind of the debate that's all over the internet, which is, well, you need to look at this less as his compensation. And to Mark's point, he's got other compensation, and more like, as Chad points out, an investment. And yes, Mark.
We're on a football thing here, so timeout. You didn't even talk about Chabar champion actress.
Oh, sorry.
I know John's an all-star here, but I mean, really?
We're playing Chabar champion and we're playing Acrosin. Go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Here for a second, because I mean, wealth managers always talk about Core and Explore, and that's really all it is. That was his Explore, right? He was just fun money, as Jim said. It's just playing with house money, right? He's got plenty, so why not take a little and just roll the dice?
And he
he's not the only one. A lot of other players went out and did this. So
Yeah,
why are we
and a lot
talking
of
about
players
them?
got praised for it too
Yeah.
because they bought Bitcoin, with salary at 2,000 a coin, and it got up
That's a
to
good point.
even
Okay.
35,000 now.
I'd like to
He-
see the
Just said he
comparison
wanted
of
his
that player who
salary
got it
point,
that
right?
low. What's
He
that, John?
unfortunately bought it in November. And let's see, Bitcoin hit a high of just south of 68K. And today is just south of 37K, sorry. So that's like cut in half or more than half, right?
Does that count, Justin?
Yeah,
I think it does. Hackler's
What did I do?
saying
It does.
Odell Beckham Jr. counts as an Ackerson.
Oh.
Who?
So he caught it so far at the worst. You're very much right. We could be looking backwards I did that in 6 months, 10 months, and he could be the winner and laughing at everyone. I will also note to you that I also jumped into Ethereum. You probably heard it on this show at around the same time. And Ethereum's pretty much tracked Bitcoin. It's similar kind of downturn. So I had the same problem, just mine wasn't 750K. It was
So all right, so
a little more than that.
Are we
2.6.
penalizing JD for that?
Yes.
I'm drinking.
Okay, no. But for the 750,000, you is that an
Oh.
Ackerson?
If you use the
I don't
letter,
think
it's
that
5,000.
is.
So as Greg just said, what about Scaramucci? And he's my best friend, so I guess I can kind of just now talk about him. I love name dropping like that, but yeah, I mean, look, it's the next monetary system, right? So what does it really matter? You're playing the long game here. Odell knows that.
Well,
I just wanted to work Scaramucci in there. That was the whole reason for the comment.
I loved that statement, John.
we've made some of those same statements on this show, almost in defense of Bitcoin going into a retirement plan, and it gets a lot of hate, and a lot of pushback. But you cannot argue the fact that it's kind of funny for the traditional investor right now to sit back and watch all of these young kids and these millennials who were crushing it. And now because of their crypto and their Bitcoin and some of their non-fungible tokens are looking to get their jobs back at Subway and the Burger King and stuff.
Time out. People that are crushing it in Bitcoin aren't ones that bought it last November, dude. The people who worked at Subway and that no longer need to work at
Chad
bought
worked at
Bitcoin
Subway.
$200.
And Justin.
So I think you're off on that one. People who are late to this game that are buying it right now need to really be in it for the long play. But those of us that bought it a long ass time ago don't mind this kind of pullback. Still feels good.
I like COVID, Chad. Okay, let's move on to another headline. The old Nevin and Fred have come out with a new podcast, and you can leave that one up there, Brandon. That's perfect. Yeah, give them a little plug. Nevin and Fred, new podcast dropped. Check it out, everyone. I listened to it this morning over my coffee, and they talked about this little 401k specialist article we have up here. Plaintiffs score win an excessive fee case versus Northwestern. This is a big deal, John. What's the reaction been to this article? You feel like this is getting a lot of heat, a lot of attention, I should
our
say?
number one article this week.
Yeah.
I kind of figured you were going to ask me about what we're covering now, and this was the number one.
Doesn't surprise me.
It has it all, I feel like it's got Schlichter, Tibble versus Edison, excessive fees, Supreme Court. It's everything you want in a story, pretty much.
Yeah.
So people are definitely reacting to it. I mean, you had the lower court that said, basically dismissed the case. Then you had the Seventh Circuit affirm that decision, and then the Supreme Court overturned it and said no. That
Sending it back now to the Seventh Circuit, huh?
Seventh, yeah, and participants are not responsible for monitoring necessarily the investment, the quality of the investment, of the fees. They are obviously responsible for monitoring the performance, but that falls on the plan sponsor, and so that's really quite the shakeup. So as you might imagine, as you said, JD, it's getting a lot of play.
It's everywhere, and please do tune in to Nevin and Fred's convo on it because they do a great job of kind of start to finish. And John did a quick headline there, or a quick kind of summary there, which was good. So what made it really interesting is it gets through all these higher, or I should say lower courts, I guess, gets to Supreme Court. Supreme Court says no, sends it back, I guess with new advice, right? Saying, hey, maybe they could still dismiss this case, in the Seventh Circuit, but they have to now do it with the kind of assessment and advice from the Supreme Court, which is you cannot do it. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about. You cannot dismiss the case simply because there are lots of investment choices for the participant. More specifically, if one investment's bad, maybe there was another one that was good that the participant could have taken, and that should give you some type of protection. And they have said no. And they cited the Tibble case saying, look, we talked about this with that one. You must monitor all the investments available to the participants and make sure that they're up to snuff. Chad, you look like you got a COVID thought.
Got a nugget.
No.
I'm mind blown that Nevin was angry at some point, because I don't feel like Nevin Adams can ever get angry, and I really want to see it.
I can see a side that is just terrifying.
No way. No
But
way.
it takes a lot to get to it.
I honestly was
I
shocked
agree.
because I didn't pay close enough attention just in the beginning to know that Northwestern had like hundreds of investment options. I thought it was really interesting to hear Fred and Nevin talk about how the Tibble case, and when they were talking about having tons of investment options, that they almost felt like brokerage accounts were going to become like a safety net. Like if you had a brokerage account, it would create this safety for you because you could always say, well, my participants have tons of options to choose from. Or think like the Nationwide Fund window, right? And Nationwide Financial. My participants have tons of options, so they should never bitch about a fund. I didn't know that was the comparison. I was thinking, and this is where I want to get maybe your thoughts, Mark. I thought it was more about like this big push towards low cost index funds. And that this is where a lot of these lawsuits were coming forward, saying you could have had a Vanguard, you could have had an S&P 500, you could have had this. And I thought when I first just skimmed it, I felt like, got it, Standard & Poor's. I thought it was more about like, well, wait, you can have actively managed, more expensive funds, if you will, so long as you have these other options. That's clearly what it was not about. But I'm curious, Mark, and then we could take it to Justin and Chad. Are you seeing core menus built by advisors these days that have a blend of the index and the active?
Oh yeah, no, primarily, yeah. I mean, the initial lineups that we get are never a blend. It's always a low cost, passively managed group of funds, index funds. But no, the advisors that are doing this business are creating a lineup that includes both. For sure. I'll say this, it's 80% of the time it's a blend.
It's a blend, which to me, you would think that would give you some protection, but again, not the point of the case today, Chad.
It was no, I agree completely with Mark, and I want to hit a little bit more on your point there, Mark, that every proposal received is always shoved with proprietary and loaded with passive, because they want to show the lowest possible required revenue mark, because they know they're being spreadsheeted most of the time and people aren't smart enough to dig through that. But beyond that, when the advisor goes to write the menu, I would say 80% of the time, the regional vice president says, hey, work with the internal and let's come up with a menu. Now, that has changed at Northwestern, right? You guys all seen that? Every plan they write has to have an outsourced 321 now. So they're not writing anything without it at this point. All of their clients are being pushed to a 321. So all those old American funds plan that a lot of Northwestern mutual advisors were writing are all being pushed that route now too. They're repapering all the clients to have a 321 on every plan. So you're seeing a lot of that business move right now. I think it needs to be done by April of this year, I think.
These can't be Chad's nuggets. These will be Fred and Nev nuggets. But when they come to the end, I think the summary or the takeaway is one we've heard forever, which is, hey, dummies, you need to have an investment policy statement. You need to have a process to monitor the funds and remove and replace them, when they fall below certain criteria. That's the takeaway. But I also want to let everyone know, this is not a done deal. So this case could still be dismissed. It's not as though the Supreme Court said, no, you cannot dismiss this case. They simply said you can't dismiss it based on that fact. That just because you have alternative funds to offer, that you don't have to worry about those. So we still need to pay attention and see where this goes. But to John's point, it's causing it's getting a lot of attention throughout the industry. Let's get to it. Let's see if Justin's gonna get a hat trick, everybody. Let's spin the wheel of ice. This will be 3 in a row for Justin.
Can I just? You didn't ask me what I was drinking.
Oh, John,
Oh, no,
what
but
are you
I don't drink, remember?
I got mocktails here, man.
Mocktails.
Especially
We
for
got-
this.
Can't see.
Yeah. It's
Got to put it right in front of you.
it's juniper, cucumber, Collins, lemon, Angelica.
Okay.
Who went and
What?
picked that up for you, John?
So I have a good friend who was my managing editor who just I recommended her for a position at the Journal of Financial Planning at the at the FPA, and so she ended up getting the job, and I was really happy for her.
Well,
But it's
So hold on,
Planning
who's
Association.
John's drinking partner, by the way?
I much prefer you with a Heineken 0.0 in your hands, but it's okay. We'll let it slide.
Hey,
Isn't it last week's champ that's supposed to drink for John on this show?
hey, my wife found an entire store that sells non-alcoholic booze. She bought some. It's called Soft
Is it
Spirits.
Toys R Us?
She was like, "This is a whole bottle of gin. There's no alcohol in it. I don't know why you do this." But
I don't.
she's a-
I don't like where this conversation's
I
going.
don't think I really understand now.
I would prefer we spin the wheel of ice and drink real booze instead of
Yeah.
talk about
Hey,
fake.
by the
booze.
way, before we do that, I'd like to interrupt again and say that you're talking about, Nevin and Fred's podcast, which is great, but the initial podcast sponsor of The Robe, aka our show, was 401k Fridays, and we all know who's coming on his show if you saw his LinkedIn post, Mr.
No.
Boogeyman himself. So
Oh,
check
for the
that
third
out
time.
as well. Yeah.
And don't worry, John. I'm doing a whole bit on your podcast in the show, so don't worry. You're not getting left out.
All right, thanks, man.
Let's spin the wheel, Brandon. Fucking banter.
Motherfuckers.
Hat trick. Bring them up.
Oh. So,
Dang
Mark,
it,
this is what it
dang
felt
it.
like when the show started, huh?
Too bad. All right, John.
Now
Thanks,
you know.
Justin.
Now you know.
Speaking of podcasts,
Hey, Chris, just real quick, we had Schlichter on the cover in 2016. Sorry, just
you
responding
were
to the chat
are you
bar.
saying you were the first to break Schlichter
I mean,
to the world?
in a way I was. We had videos that we did with them and everything. And I think we were just a little too far ahead of the curve. But, I thought because Tibble was being decided at that point that it'd just go gangbusters, and it really didn't. So
Well, nothing can beat our cover, John. We all know that.
I've seen those old videos of you and Jerome. Those are nice.
it worked out well.
You heard it here. John Sullivan informed the entire world who Jerry Schlichter was. We appreciate that, John. You guys at 401k Specialist Magazine have a podcast creatively named, what's it called?
401k Specialist Podcast.
Nice. That was sweet. Did you get a nice Madison Avenue firm to come up with that one for you?
How much was
We
that?
did.
So fired.
Know everything.
You guys have clocked in quite a few episodes. What, you're north of 35 or 40 or something like that,
I
right?
got to say this, JD, you were in 2021 one of our most listened to podcasts, but Chad was right behind you. He's only about 200 downloads behind you. So
That's what happens when they
Yes, but
listen to
when's
themselves
Coder gonna be on?
repetitively. Yeah.
How's my
Chad tells us we have to listen to it every day.
Yeah, it's part of it.
right.
How's my dust chase taste, Chad? You fucking second place for losers. What I want to do today is go over. I'm going to actually play some audio clips for you from some past guests that you've had on your podcast, and my hope is that these comments from your past guests will kind of just spur on a little conversation amongst us here at the bar. So, Brandon, feel free to start with anyone you'd like. I got a couple of them.
Well, I think 401ks are overly confusing for employers and participants. They're overly complex, overly burdensome. There's too many parties involved. It's too expensive.
Right.
So what I like is we're seeing a trend towards streamlining these services where you can maybe get to one or two If you're a business owner, you can go to one or two places to get the plan done right. We're seeing a decline in costs. We're seeing an improvement in a migration towards fiduciaries that advise in this space. But we have a long way to go. Really, it should be very, very simple. Like when we acquired America's Best, you go online, you fill out some questions, and you have a full fiduciary. Your costs almost always are substantially lower. The plan is very easy for participants to understand. That should be the norm in the industry, and at that point, we'll have made some real progress.
Blah blah blah. I'm with Bill in the chat bar, but I won't say it out loud. John, everyone wants to know, who was that speaking?
That was Peter Maluk. Peter Maluk,
very nice.
Planning, one of the largest RIAs in the country. Obviously his comment.
Registered investment
advisors. He mentioned there that he bought America's Best 401k. It's very streamlined. It had Tony Robbins as the chief marketing officer for quite a while and a major investor. So, he's definitely you got to take his comments with a grain of salt. But, I like Peter. I disagree with him often. I disagree with him on what he said about target date funds, the Twitter war that erupted over it. But he was a great guest, and I got to ask him about owning, a piece of the Royals, and it was cool. It was a great time.
I might talk to you more about the little Twitter battle that went down on the target date funds, but this whole simplicity thing we've heard a lot and discussed a lot on this show. I saw a lot of anger in the chat bar there quickly, but you know what? I think we need to pay attention to it. I think when someone like Peter says that, if clients were listening in, Mark, do you think clients would agree that 401k plans should be simpler and easier and cheaper?
Do I think who should agree?
The clients, the plan sponsors, the employers.
100%. Yeah, easily. Yes.
And so if they think that way, should we be sitting up here as industry people poo-pooing Peter's ideas, saying he's got it all wrong?
The issue that I have, and I wrote immediately in the chat bar, I agree with many of those points. The issue I have is, as an industry, we're trying to sell a new marketing tool that is those things without actually accomplishing what he's saying needs to be accomplished. We're not really simplifying it. We're not making it easier. We're trying to tell people, hey, come to this pooled employer plan and everything will be fixed for you. You don't have to worry about anything. We're taking away the importance of it. And we're not working hard on payroll integration. We're not working on simplifying the way these plans need to be ran. We're over analyzing to try to win business. We're creating more regulation that makes us have to charge more. So we're preaching it, but we're doing the opposite in what we're trying to create.
Well, a lot of it too, in my mind, it's really that terminology. Saying something is simple does not mean that it becomes something that is a click of a button or that you just don't have to do anything for, right? There are recipes out there that are claimed to be simple. Guess what? It still takes you 30 minutes to prep and do everything and make the dish, okay? There's still work involved, but maybe it's easier than the executive chef over that French restaurant when he makes it or she makes it. But that it's the verbiage, right? Easy, simple. I get it, because it was hard as shit years ago. We have made it a little bit easier.
We have.
Totally
just to
agree.
clarify, we're talking specifically just about the plan sponsors and from the administrative standpoint, not the necessarily investing standpoint.
Well, no, I think we're talking about all things. I think we're talking about all things.
Okay. But you don't think it's got a hell of a lot cheaper and a hell of a lot easier with auto-enrollment portability and all that stuff?
That is not easier.
No, not necessarily. I think, unfortunately, automatic enrollment, John, it creates more responsibility for clients. I mean, you think about it, you got to make sure that you're putting people in when they don't turn in their enrollment forms. You got to make sure that if you have annual increases, that you're doing them when they're supposed to happen. So
right. So then we're talking about the administrative standpoint then again.
Yeah, it can get a little more complicated. But I liked Mark's analogy of, and we talked about this a bit when Human Interest was on a few weeks ago, which is I kind of gave them kudos for just being good marketers and good branders. They use the term simple and quick and easy. Peter's using the same term. And as I said earlier, I think that's what clients want to hear. And I just think that we should wake up to that a little bit. And instead of being, bah humbug about it and trying to push back so hard on it, we need to embrace kind of their terminology and their words, and see what we can do to make it a little simpler, which we try, but we need to wave our own flag on that stuff.
Yep.
JD, I feel like I want to make a little statement on this because it's not the first time the chat bar has had this comment. I've constantly said negative things about auto-enroll. And I'm not denying that auto-enroll is the right thing to do and is really great in most situations. What I am arguing and what pisses me off is when I run into clients that have failed their auto-enroll because someone sold it to them as this really attractive way of running the plan that's modern and what most of the up and coming startup businesses are doing. Yet nobody explains to the client without payroll integration that responsibility falls on their shoulders. And then we get in and it is wrong and it is messed up.
Terminology. Auto-enroll. They almost think like it's done for them. It's automatic,
that's my
right?
point though, Mark, is that too many people are not taking the time to explain it.
No, I know.
To the client.
I want to be clear. I want to be clear with my old friend Guy Hawker there too. I'm not talking about pooled employer plans right now. I'm talking about all plans. And so, yeah, I understand that automatic enrollment is in all these types of plans. We're just talking about the fact that unless you got a record keeper that really has the tech nailed down, and unless your payroll provider and the human resources people and the people at the company are really paying attention to the details and making sure that all the synapses are firing properly, automatic enrollment can make plans more complicated. I'm a fan of automatic enrollment. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying don't wave around the simplicity flag of that type of thing because it can be more complicated. But we could go deeper. We don't have a ton of time on this. I just wanted to say to our audience is that let's keep listening to these disruptors and these Peter Maluks and these people. They're understanding what our clients want and they're communicating to them in a way that sounds attractive to our clients. And I think we need to start doing a bit of the same thing because the reality is it's us, the industry pros that have been doing this for decades, that are probably in the best position to actually create some type of efficiency for these clients versus these newcomers to our industry that are claiming to, but really aren't. And COVID chat is on fire because I feel like he's got another thought. Let it rip.
I'm typing. Kevin wrote to just us and the panelists, and I wanted to make a point back.
So we had Peter Maluk's partner at the time, Tony Robbins' partner, on the cover of one of the issues, and that's
Zagainer.
Yeah, Tom Zagainer, and that's exactly what it was. This guy's coming for your 401k business, just by at least saying that it's easier, seducing them with, okay, it's going to be a lot easier and cheaper than what's established out there. We're the disruptor, and there's a case to be made for that.
Sully, do you know that Tom Zagainer? I wish I could go back and find them, or people could just easily search them. Tom Zagainer and I would get into it on fucking LinkedIn. And I called him out and told him to come on this show several times because when he back then was claiming simplicity and ease and lower costs, and I would look at his program, I was calling him out in the chat bars and saying, bullshit. Your program's not cheaper. It's not more affordable. You've just cut out the advisor role and you've done this and done that. And so we really, really got into it. So when I saw him on your cover, I was like, motherfucker. And we actually did an episode way back, go back into the archives where we talked about Tony Robbins and Zagainer and America's Best and gave them a whole bunch of shit, if I remember correctly.
So now I'm going to lean on Tom Hard to come on. I think that we need to do that.
I would love that.
Yep.
JD, when we filmed that show, only 12 people would watch and knew who we were. So yeah.
Well, that was at Half Moon Bay Brewery too. We all got pretty hammered. No, it was when we called out T-Rob.
No, we were in the conference room. We're in the conference room.
That was the first time, and then we did
the first signs of COVID brain are hitting Chad right now as we speak. Right. Let's pull up another audio clip, and John, you can let everyone know who this is when we get to the end of it.
Comments are huge. And one last tip that I suggest on the comment stream is for every day, for every one thing you post, you should be commenting on 5 other people's posts. So every morning when I wake up, I go into every feed of platform that I'm on and I choose 5 posts and I leave pretty value added comments. It's not just like, hey, great post, Tim, but something that adds to the conversation or is thought provoking. And what happens is now when I go to post my content, Tim's more likely to see it and also to comment on it. So, people got the media part down of social media. They're posting media all the time, but most people aren't social. They don't actually go and leave those comments. So that is a really important.
Joey Santos got it in the chat bar. Who is that, Sully?
Joey's our producer, our wonderkind. He pretty much makes sure that the trains are running on time. I mean, he's just fantastic. So good buddy of mine. Great guy.
I didn't really care about Joey. Fuck him. I was saying, who's the person who was talking, who was speaking?
Oh, that was Shannon Russell.
Samantha Russell.
I got Shannon Edwards on the
You should drink for that. You should. And Joey, I love you. I love you. I love you. Samantha Russell.
Samantha Russell.
Let me ask. I'm going to go to
We had her
Justin.
on our show way back when,
Yeah, she's been a guest on this show. And by the way, she actually, I'm not saying she's phenomenal just to be nice and then rip on her, because I'm not really going to rip on her, but she is phenomenal and she works very hard and has lots of great value add and ideas for advisors. But Justin, I want to go to you. She's talking about creating content. She's talking about commenting on 5 different people's posts in the morning and being on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and these things. If you're representing the financial advisor community, are they feeling some stress by this? Are they feeling like they're missing the ball? Or are they feeling like this is a bunch of bullshit? How do you think their assessment is on all this stuff?
I mean, there's definitely a part of the industry who don't, but God, I was stressed just listening to you say all that shit and listen to her. It's like, how are you going to find the time to do that when I got to manage my clients and everything? And do my clients go on and pay attention to my social? Is it even useful? And yes, it is useful. We know that, but still, I don't know. It's, I think the majority of advisors are, probably pretty stressed out thinking about shit, I got to do all that stuff.
Should I be doing it? Yeah. Sully, it's a trend. Do you think that they're stressed out by it and feel intimidated that they're not doing enough? Or do you think they're more like Will Hackler in the chat bar who says, this is total bullshit?
That's it. I mean, the average age of the advisor we've all heard is like 155 at this point, right? So they don't care. You have a lot of the young people who are banging this, and I think eventually it is going to be a thing, just because everybody's so digitally savvy now. I mean, you talk about young clients in the San Francisco area that are sitting down with advisors and they're fact checking them in real time on their phones, right? Bringing it up and Googling stuff as the advisor is saying it. So it's pretty aggressive, but at this point, an old guy like me, I bring in a Joey Santos and he does it for me. So I think that if you've got somebody younger on the team that you can dedicate that to or outsource it, it might be a good idea.
Well, and you can't teach old dogs new tricks. Is that what you're saying, John?
Well, ain't nobody got time for that. Joe Biden is one of the most fantastic tweeters in the history of tweeting. I don't know how that is because I see him sometimes having trouble stringing together a sentence. But
I want to place our focus and our spotlight in the conversation more on the marketing aspect of it. The generating new business, right? Generating new leads that then you're going to close to add to your business and make more money. And this might sound weird coming from me, who's, many would label me as kind of a social media guy, but I honestly don't think advisors need to worry about this shit. I think that there's only so many Jake Rushtons. There's only so many Jeannie Fishers. There's only room for so many influencers. And so most of you that are out there that are stressing to create content and post it out there and feel like you're not doing enough, no offense, you're not Jeannie Fisher. You're not going to get the likes and the comments, and it doesn't matter whether you follow Samantha's guidelines or you don't. And I say, don't even worry about it. Worry about other ways of generating new business in today's area. And John, to your point, I'm not saying that you wouldn't use Zoom or that you wouldn't understand that someone might be Googling, your stats as you're saying them to them. I get all that. I just mean, I don't think you need to stress out on Monday morning about making a post on Facebook and a post on LinkedIn and a post on Twitter and making 5 comments here and there. I might even argue you're wasting your time. And if I laid Will Hackler next to you and he said, fuck it, I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to use old school strategic partners. Well, don't use Will's specific example because he's got those right there for him easily. But a general advisor who's going to go more old school tactics, knocking on doors, making calls, working through strategic partners, kicking open doors. I might argue they'd be a lot more successful than that person trying to come up with a creative tweet. Chad.
Go ahead, John. You're far more important than me.
Thanks, man.
That's true.
Now, I was going to say, I mean, you mentioned Jeannie Fisher. You mentioned a lot of the young digitally savvy advisors that are out there, and rightfully so. But what about like Rebecca Auerhand? She's always talking about a digital footprint. She's always talking about they're going to go out there and they're going to at least want to see something.
Good point.
That was going to be my point too, John.
That's a great point, and I would actually argue I agree with that. But that's kind of like your digital storefront, if you will. So I was talking about posting on Facebook, posting on Twitter, creating content, making comments. Should your website look tight and reference your current vision and company? Yes. Should you have a LinkedIn profile that's pretty and represents who you are and gives contact? Yes. Might you even have an Instagram that has some stuff there so people can just see? Yes. Your digital storefront should look good so you don't look like a fucking idiot when I research you and look you up. But you do not have to waste Monday through Friday on some pipe dream that you're somehow going to win a ton of business on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I was
Freaking awesome.
And or doing dances on TikTok.
I was just going to say two quick things. Jim said one thing, which is you don't necessarily have to steal the content, but piggyback on others. If you read something you like, then go ahead and share it and make a little comment about it.
Why? Then you just look like you're lazy.
I disagree. And I will tell you, as someone who's looking for the right kind of advisors, I absolutely look if they have any type of presence. I want to see the things that they're reading and commenting on. I want to get a little feel for who I'm getting ready to go meet. And you do need a footprint in today's day and age. And I say that my wife is losing her damn mind here in Missouri because companies have no websites. They have no phone numbers to call. You don't know if they're open. You get there and they're like, well, we're randomly closed on these Tuesdays. And I feel the same can happen with an advisor. If someone knocks on the door and says they do 401ks, but then you go look around and you don't find them anywhere. I don't believe you that you do 401ks if I'm not finding some sort of presence of you doing 401ks.
My concern is that there's a lot of advisors, and I'm not going to pick on the 105-year-olds like John did. Like, I think there's a lot of them that are even 30 years old, 40 years old, and 50 years old. And instead of focusing their attention on how they've won business over the last 3, 5, and 10 years and how they might be able to improve that, like there's ways to improve the old school ways of winning new business. Instead, they're being told by a lot of talking heads that it's all about digital content and they need to be an influencer and get their personal brand out there. And I'm just saying that if I put two of those people side by side and did a race for the next 5 years to see how much new business you could bring in and how much new revenue you could generate, I'm not so certain the social media content path is the one you should take. That's just where I'm at.
I just see so many successful advisors who are on Twitter, who are on LinkedIn, who have great presence. I mean, is that a correlation versus causation argument?
I think so.
I feel like when you say that, John, in the 401k space specifically, I can name them on my two hands if.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
So I call bullshit on that. Like, no, that's not true. There's not that many. And if you really, I bet you if you name a few of them for me.
Because we see them there. That's why we know about those folks. There's so many others that are way more successful that aren't creating a social presence.
And I'm worried that we're teaching people to focus on the wrong things. And I'm not saying you got to do, I'm not trying to be the old school person and say, oh, just do the things the same way your father did them 30 years ago. I'm just saying, no, focus your attention less on creating content on social media and more on how you can go kick open more doors, get more opportunities, and win more business. And there's lots of ways to work on that. Lots of creative ways, lots of branding ways, lots of marketing ways, lots of product options. There's all kinds of ways to do that. So let's play a little fun game. with Sullivan in the middle of the fun. You're the game show attendee here, okay? We call it winners and losers. We're going to put up a picture of two people, two things. And John, you need to tell us which one you think is the winner and which one you think is the loser.
Got it.
And why. Are the champions.
Oh, I thought that was part of it. I was like, oh, come on, it's Freddie. And he's got a Heineken, too.
He's a winner no matter who you put him up against.
Oh, this is...
I like to have fun with these. You know, I like to kind of put you on the spot.
You don't have to put me on the spot at all. I mean, you know, Napanet is such a fantastic magazine. It's...
We needed to make
that plan
for the term fantastic.
So the national... The National Association of Plan Advisors magazine is the winner in your book, Sully, just because they're, as you say, fantastic.
Fantastic. Okay, sorry, that got me. Now, and I've expressed this to Nevin before. I was like, dude, stay in your lane, please. You're making me look bad. I mean, it's just a great looking magazine. There's a lot of great information in there. And I'm like...
And he's a brainiac.
He's a brainiac, and he's making me feel very insecure. So I was like, fine, man. I'm going to start, lobbying Congress then, jerk.
How about you, COVID Chad? Do you have a preference between these two mags?
No, I really don't.
Thanks for your insights. What about you, Mark? Have you ever read either one of them?
First off, how dare you insinuate that I haven't read either of them? Okay? Obviously, the answer is no. And also, I don't choose either of them because we've never been on the cover.
Justin?
First off, how dare you insinuate that I actually read them?
Why are you stealing my lines, bro?
Because I had to. I had to go opposite of you. I'm sorry. Plan sponsor? Question mark?
So can I just point something out here real quick before you reveal yours? So Kushner just said something that made sense, right? It's a little bit of a false
He did
dichotomy
what?
here. What's that?
Kushner did?
Yeah.
Made sense, Mark.
The 401k specialist is number one. Is that the sensical statement he made?
No, he said, what about plan advisor? So it should be plan advisor versus Napanet, not plan sponsor.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Jeez, man. I was trying to work on song lyrics. I didn't have a chance to vet out my two fucking magazines.
Sorry,
Make
man.
sure they're apples to apples.
Take your job more seriously, JD.
That's the one you want to read.
Who said that? Kushner said that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck you, Kush. Okay, let's do the next
Send
one.
me a mug. Send him a broken one.
These are two top advisor by participant outcome. No, not both winners. You got one winner and one loser in that category, right? Nominees.
Well, they both won a month and one won a year.
You know who you're looking at, right,
What about the
Sully?
advisor?
Yeah,
role?
no, I do. So I'm going to go with your pick, actually, which I believe was Astley.
Oh, he won our... No, not true.
Oh,
Potts
I'm going to go with Podichin, so that I
Yep.
don't have to decide myself. I'm just going to say I'm going to go with your winner.
For the audience, this is Alex Astley and Aaron Podichin, two financial advisors. And so, John, who is your favorite of these two human beings?
Podichin.
Podichin. Okay. Chad, who's your favorite?
The only reason is because, again, you guys put them head to head, and Podichin came out on top. That's
Okay,
the only
okay.
reason.
Aaron is just too pretty. He's too pretty, so I'm going Alex with this one.
Aaron based on his... Oh, no. Aaron not because of his good looks. Okay.
Right.
Wow. Alex wins because of his ugliness. All right. Justin.
That's what I heard. Go for the underdog, buddy. Alex, every time.
Okay. We got a split deal. Mark?
Grants, they're both quality dudes. That's why JD's doing this.
Mark's calling one of them, I feel like. Or...
No, Mark's trying to avoid the question.
Okay. Well,
Guys, I gotta go.
Hey, Ron, where are you?
Oh, I thought he was
Where is
seriously shooting.
Ron right now?
you know what? I used to think they were both very cool. I feel like they're falling off a bit. I think they need to step up their
I
game.
was just gonna say,
Whoa.
I'll give my winning vote to the person who's here, and they're neither of them are here. So
Okay.
Shame
It's a
on
case
them.
in point. They're
You're
falling
losing
off.
your edge, and I wasn't going to say anything, but you're not as fun as you used to be.
It's exactly how I feel. All right, we got one more for you, Sully.
Nope.
yep, just one more. All right, I'll make it up. No.
Great one.
Let me know if you know who you're looking at.
Oh, I've got to go with Davidson. That guy, he just has the career 9 lives. I mean, he can do no wrong. It's unbelievable.
Oh gosh.
If you were Kim K, you're going Pete Davidson.
I'm going with Davidson. Yeah. It
Okay.
seems like
Oh,
Kanye's
the
kind of-
question is if you're Kim.
Well, I don't know,
Oh.
sort of, right?
I thought maybe like you want to hang out with him or.
I like that one too, Mark. You can answer that one. All right, you're going Davidson. I would have picked you as a Davidson guy, Sullivan. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Mark, which one would you want to hang out with?
I really like Pete Davidson's comedic act. I enjoy it, but I will be honest, Kanye going to the studio, you get to meet other rappers and cool guys in that industry. I don't like Kanye's
So
current.
you're just using him then?
What?
Yeah.
You would just use him then.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just to meet the other people.
No, just to meet other people. Yeah, because his
Yeah,
music right
okay.
now is weird. I wish we could go back and actually. Pete Davidson wore a hat that said "Bring back 2006 Kanye," and I agree with that.
Right,
His music was better. He wasn't nuts. So yeah.
Which is a funny stab because there's drama between them, right?
No, it's great. Yeah, it's great. Oh.
I think Kanye has
I think you'd expect there to be.
Kanye's got a rap lyric about Davidson right now or something.
Yeah.
Chad, nerdy COVID Chad, which one of these do you think has the higher net worth? I don't know.
I think
I'm
it's
making
Kanye.
up shit. Huh?
It's definitely Kanye, but I'm going to hang out with Pete Davidson. I don't have to worry about getting shot when I'm with him. Or yelled at me. There's a lot of people that don't like Kanye, dude. Nobody really cares too much about Pete Davidson.
Wow, how logical is Chad? He's woven in his own safety into the decision. I like that.
Gotcha.
Justin?
Davidson.
Davidson.
Kanye drives me nuts, man.
I'm honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I am a Kanye West fan. I like his music. It's got a creative angle to it, an artistic angle to it. Nothing that John Sullivan would ever understand, but he definitely pushes the envelope in that side of things. I know it can get a little weird when he's not on his meds, and I know he maybe wasn't the nicest guy to Taylor Swift, but you live and learn, and you forgive people. My vote is for Kanye West,
Even the
100%.
Yeezus album?
What?
Even Yeezus?
Oh yeah, a lot of it's been good music.
Wow, did John just Google Kanye West to figure that out?
gotta look through some of it. Shoot, we didn't do the. I thought we had another one. Damn it! I guess I didn't send it. I was gonna put a JP Morgan and a BlackRock logo next to each other and ask you which one was better, but we can move on from that one, I guess.
Oh, wrong button.
Both being sponsors of your magazine.
Yeah,
Sully,
exactly. That would've
what
been
can you tell us about when does the next mag come out, and can you give us any secrets, any leaks?
So, in honor of Kanye, our next mag drops in March. That'll be the first quarter. And so we've got Ann Lester on the cover, a target date fund manager, JP Morgan for 29 years. This woman is the epitome. Do I really have to say John Pierpont Morgan?
Yeah, whatever the name is. Yeah, I'm glad you know that.
The game, John.
I mean, as a 3-time guest, I would expect you to know that.
All right. So, anyways, she's a complete badass, and I'm actually trying to work the word badass into the piece, just like I work, fuck into the piece with you. So, so she was a rugby player and played the piccolo at Princeton, her undergrad, and then she got a graduate degree at Johns Hopkins in Japanese studies. Went over to Japan, became a member, aide to a member of parliament in Japan for 5 years. Then moved to Italy, met her husband, worked there for a while, then came back to the States, became a senior executive at a major financial services firm. And then after 29 years, just retired and decided to walk across Italy 1,000 miles.
What are these people?
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm
You're
a
a lot faster.
I am just.
Makes me feel like shit.
When you hear about these kind of people, though, it's inspiring. Yeah, like to know, like
that's it. Totally.
Oh, wow.
What was her name again, John?
Ann Lester.
I'm
Like-
looking her up over here. That's not a person I had heard of. That's
Like,
crazy.
it makes you feel like, oh, I'm capable of that as a human being. Like, I could do more than just drink beer and go surfing. It's possible.
She was the
tiring.
Morningstar Manager of the Year 2014. But she really, her career pretty much mirrored the rise of target date funds, and she had a hand in really developing them early on. And she's a woman on our cover. Thank God, finally.
I don't know. Well, you've had several. Hasn't Jania been on the cover twice?
Yeah, Jania's been twice, and then we had one other woman. Oh no, we had Liz
Oh
Davidson.
no, you had Financial Finesse, Liz Davidson.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
is
you're
that
right.
it? Oh yeah, good for you then.
It's few and far between though, so.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that you're willing to release now ahead of time that she's going to be on the cover. But when we were going to be on the cover, you were like, please don't tell anybody. I'm not sure how to interpret that. Like, you're proud that she's going to be on the cover. And for us, you just wanted our window to be as small as possible so maybe no one would notice? Or what's the reasoning there?
No, that's it.
Okay.
I think you're an idiot, Mr. Sullivan.
So yeah, John, it's been posed in the chat bar too. What do we got to do to get on second time?
Come on, man.
It's not going to happen. And I would never even ask him that.
Hey, we didn't think we would get on the first time, but we did. So
Justin,
more positive minds here.
Justin,
go meditate.
You do not know what I had to do off record to make that happen, and it's not going to happen again. All right, before we get to Chat Bar Champion, what I'd like to do is let everyone. Actually, no. Let's do Chat Bar Champion first, and then I'm gonna.
Yeah, so go for more now.
And then I'm gonna let everyone know our conference calendar for the 2022 year. Although it's pretty well cemented, but there's a little bit of flexibility there. But let's go Chat Bar Champion first. I'm gonna go straight to you, Mark. Your vote for Chat Bar Champion today is.
I'm gonna go off of one comment, just because I laughed really to myself a lot and out loud. Tony Davis, because he said COVID caught Chad. So I really appreciate that.
Tony Davis. Justin?
I want to make her feel really welcome. It's first time here. Catherine Downing.
Okay. That's pretty big.
She was active too.
And Justin, you're not just doing it because she showed up and you liked her name. She brought some quality to the chat bar as a rookie.
She said it's my first time here, and I respected that coming out. Yeah.
Oh, now we're just handing out nominations.
Yeah, now you're just being a kiss ass. Like
the same thing you're doing to Tony. Come on.
Okay, Chad.
He said one funny thing. I thought it was hilarious.
Hey, she said more than one thing.
There was a lot of activity tonight. Some were very good. Some were a little slower tonight, but it was a late point takeover by Christine Roberts. And a comment that she made, people can accomplish all this shit when they're not posting on Twitter all the time. I like that.
Okay. Christine Roberts. Sully, your vote for Chat Bar Champion.
Kush. He made me laugh.
Okay.
I smoked pot with Johnny Hopkins. It was me, Sloan Kittering, and Johnny Hopkins. We blazed that shit up.
As Kush has mentioned many times, and I've mentioned before, check him out on Instagram. He's a great follow. Sullivan, if you're not following him already. I'm going to I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to vote for one half of the Shamanda show. I'm going to vote for Amanda Iverson into the Chat Bar Champion for one comment and one comment only. I put up Kanye's picture and I put up Pete Davidson's picture, and she said, A or B, I'll choose C. So she's not into either one of those fuckers. So Brandon, there we go. Chat Bar Champion. Let's send him out there.
So Amanda, just so you know, you'll never get your shit.
Not true.
Not true.
We're all up to speed on Chat Bar Champions.
Apparently not to John though. Wait, John, have you ever won Chat Bar Champion?
What's that?
Have you ever won Chat Bar Champion?
I did. When you guys were kissing my ass to get on the cover.
DeCenso, you won last week, bro. Give it a chill. It'll be there.
Did he pay his shipping and handling charges?
Is that what JD did to get on the cover?
I wish. Here comes the votes. Oh,
Got locked out. I didn't know quickly enough.
Yeah, you don't get
No,
a
we don't
stamp,
get a
no.
vote. We don't get a vote.
Son of a bitch.
Come on, people, get your last vote in. It's close. Sort of.
Ooh, David K says he never got the mug.
No, well, there's people that will get them actually within the next few days.
I've opened the floodgates.
Amanda.
David, I don't think it's going to be you.
Amanda Iverson,
Whoa.
chat bar champion. Let us know what Retireholic mug you would like in the chat bar. And I think you need to message me your address. You can text me and we will ship it out. But you got to let me know in the chat bar what mug you would like. Congratulations, part of Shamanda. All right, everyone. In 2022, we are going to be heading out to several different conferences to perform live Retireholic shows. And I just want to give you guys a first glance at these dates in case you want to join us at some of these places. I'll put a formal kind of piece together that we'll have on the website and we'll post on social. But for now, loosely, March 10th, we will be in Nashville at the American Trust Dealio. I'm sure they got a fancier name for that conference, but I haven't heard it yet. But Nashville, look that one up. April 21st, we'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. Amanda, maybe you want to come by and say hi at the Western Pension and Benefits Council Spring Conference. I'm pretty sure I got that acronym right. May 15th through the 17th, we'll be in Austin, Texas at the Broadridge FI 360 little national conference. I think they got a different name for that, but I'm just looking off my notes here. In July, third week of July, I can't give you a ton of information, but if you live in flyover states, we might be coming through town. I can't give you any more information, but just think about us kind of on a traveling tour, if you will. More information to follow. And so stay tuned to that. September, we're going to be up in San Francisco. Still need to nail down a date on that in the Bay Area. But I think I'm looking at the 16th, which is a Thursday. Check me on that. But whatever Thursday that is, we'll see. October 12th through the 14th, we will be in Austin, Texas at the Leaf House National Conference. And October 16th through the 18th, we'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Wealth at Work Conference. And if you'd like us to be at another one, we can't come.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Because, yes, Chad's got a wife and kids. Mark's got a wife and kids. Brandon's got a wife. Justin, not so much. Me, I don't really give a shit that much, but we can't make it. Too much to do. Sully, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me again.
Your energy has been so through the roof. It's been phenomenal. It's been fantastic. To all of you that tuned in, the new people, the old people, thank you so much. We love you. And Chad, I hope you start to feel better.
Feel better, Chad.
And let's play a song, and maybe we'll see who's around for the after show. You never know.
The remix.